Okay, I'll call tonight's meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. McLean, are you going to do roll call this evening?
I will.
Thank you, sir.
Member Haddock.
Here.
Member Harris.
Here.
Member Howdy Shell.
Here.
Member Lewis. Member Heath.
Here.
Member Manson.
Here.
Member Seamers. Here. Member Castleman. Member Eastwood and Member Sapoli are absent.
Thank you, sir. I will call for a motion to adopt the agenda from the, I forgot our date, the May 26th meeting.
I move we adopt the minutes from the May 26th meeting.
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Motion passes. Oh, I didn't adopt the agenda. We went from 5. Now we're going back to 4. I'll call for a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
I move we adopt tonight, motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
All right, first and a second. Any changes or updates? No. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. All right, we skipped 5 because I did it out of order. Seeing no public, we'll skip public comment. We'll move on to committee reports to expedite things because we're going to try to make it a quick meeting tonight. Recreation and Grounds Committee did not meet, but Finance Committee met on June 16th. And we discussed the operating budget, which will come up under new items, under 10A for a new item. So we'll just highlight it and do it at that point, unless anybody has any questions at this point. No questions? All right, so we'll move on to staff reports. Let's start off with Mr. Rulo.
I did a written report, but a couple things I just want to key on. Park staff has, with the generous weather of Mother Nature, finally given us a break. We've finally caught up with mowing. Hopefully things will start looking a little bit better with some of the tall grass that's around on the trails and stuff like that. But the park should be getting around to looking good. Recreation Park is really starting to come around just in time for the 4th of July, so we're looking forward to having a nice, successful event for that here in a couple weeks. And staff is, has really been working hard on keeping the baseball fields looking nice for the tournaments that we've had. I think we're going on, it's either number 5 or number 6 with only 1 week break. And just wanted to let you all know that there's a 50 and over tournament starting this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you've never been to one, it's very, very exciting. Just blew my mind last year whenever it was here, some of the way these guys can play. So come on down during the day. Starts at 9 o'clock in the morning every morning, and I think probably over about 4 or 5, something like that. So other than that, I'll entertain any questions.
Each day it's over by 4 and 5, so no night games.
I don't believe there's any night games.
No night games. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Rulo? Yes, ma'am.
I actually have a question about soccer goals.
Mm-hmm.
We were out, we took my son out there, and the field that we have the goals set on that actually has a net on it is it's over there by the tennis courts. It's kind of slanted. Is there anywhere else that we can go and practice, or is that the only one that's set up? Is there a reason there's only one set up there?
There's 2 set up over on the football field that people can use now. Citizens can use at any time.
Oh, okay.
Those are always over there there's just kind of like our practice fields. Some of that green space is rented there during the soccer leagues. Teams can practice over there. We pull the goals off the game fields to try to keep some competitive teams, and other people that are still practicing to just kind of keep them off the game fields and stay off the main goals and center field. So that's kind of the way we do it.
Okay. But down there on the football,
yeah, there's actually 4 goals set up down there, So if
They're
you-
full size or,
Mhm.
okay, good, thanks.
Full-size fields?
No, goals,
Full-size goals, yes.
yeah, okay.
Any other questions? No? Mr. McLean, your turn.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. I too submitted a written report in the packet. It is kind of lengthy because this is a very busy time for the Recreation Division. Highlight a couple key things. Farmers Market, we're on our third week of that right now, and the weather did miss us tonight, which was quite nice because as they were setting up, the black clouds rolled in, and so we were watching the radar very heavily. Averaging about 40 vendors. Staff has done an excellent job of working around the construction area out there. It is a little tight this year, but we're getting good foot traffic. So we want to thank everybody that's helped us along with that. Director Mustine and Jerry Keith, the rec coordinator, both worked very hard on making sure these spots fit in to the space we had. So there's a lot of work, and we had to adjust and make adjustments as we go, but it has been going good. Also listed some different events going on the next coming up that we've already got scheduled for out there, or guest appearances and different perks to going out. As Mr. Rulo stated, we've all been prepping for 4th of July next week. So we had safety meetings, and we have another final meeting next week in final preparations. Everything is shaping up quite well for that. Rentals, as Steve stated, we have had tournaments going successfully, and this weekend was our last scheduled one. I've been approached to add one possibly the weekend after 4th of July, so if that's the case, I will definitely be letting you guys know through Nate and making sure you're aware of that. Special events, Art in the Parks Committee met, and that also has been taking up some time getting it prepped and ready because that'll be right around the corner as soon as we wrap up the summer. Sports, the adult softball men's league ended on a tournament this last Sunday. The next league will start this coming Sunday. So quick turnaround. That was due to weather issues and bumping it back at the start of the season. So we're rolling into the summer league there. We will wrap up as of right now, if we do not have any rain makeups, which we have not other than a few t-ball games. We will be ending the baseball and softball recreation league next Wednesday, July 1st. So we're on target to be on schedule for that. We also had last week the British soccer camp. We had 46 participants, and if you drove by Recreation Park this year, we changed it up a little bit and actually moved them down to the football field where we have those extra goals and gave them a little bit more road frontage and had a lot of visibility there. So hoping that helps. They really enjoyed that field and that spot, so it worked well. They had a good time, and we've given them some dates for possibilities for next year. And then Summer Quest, I had the privilege of going with them to Worlds of Fun last Wednesday or Tuesday. I don't know, it was Tuesday or Wednesday. Anyway, it went very well. Staff has been doing an excellent job, and we're at about 60 participants right now. With summer school ending this week, we anticipate a little bit of a growth there going into the next month. But other field trips have been planned, and as you can see on there at this time, I'll entertain any other questions.
I have one question. Do we have an estimated completion for the pavilion at the farmer's market? When's that?
I will let Mr. Mustine
Okay.
answer that question. He's more in tune with that.
As of right now, the concrete work is almost complete. They were pouring the final pads portion of that. The shelter itself scheduled to be delivered. They're going to place the flagpole in this week, and rough estimated date of completion is late August for the full project to be done.
And when you say the concrete work's done, that includes off-street parking,
Yes,
the sidewalk, and the little, I don't know what we call it, I guess. The big corner, the concrete corner, I guess.
Yeah, the courtyard there, the drive-through,
Yeah.
the sidewalks, the side park, the pull-in parking, and the pad where the shelter will go.
And then the shelter gets brought in. I assume we assemble it, right?
No, it's
No.
contracted. It's,
It's contracted to be done,
yes, sir.
but it won't be done till end of August? I mean, I guess I don't know what happens after that. That seems to be the big
That's,
stuff.
well, that's one of the topics for next week at the work session.
Okay.
So we'll be going over that. But right now, we met out there today with the city manager and the city engineer and I, and rough estimate is like I said, the concrete to be done within the week, and then the shelter will be delivered and start to be put up, and
Will they be able to start using off-street parking in a week, once it cures a little bit?
yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Sweet.
we're working on a plan to offer some alternatives for the farmer's market.
For vendors?
For
Oh,
vendors,
oh,
yes.
okay.
But we're not gonna rearrange the whole market itself, because it seems to function pretty good, and we don't wanna make
Change it
changes
and
on
adjust
and
it,
off all
'cause
over
we're
the
still-
summer, so we haven't announced it yet until it's officially been told, you guys can use the concreted area, and then we'll make an offer to the current vendors if they want to move
Okay. So if anybody's hearing that online, you cannot use it yet.
yet.
Any other questions? No?
I'll just comment that my boy attended that British soccer camp. That was his first year, and I thought that was better than I expected. I went 2 or 3 days myself, and so I'm hopeful they'll come back next year. I'm sure we'll attend it.
Good.
Very good, thank you.
Good to hear. Anything else? No? Thank you, sir. Mr. Mustine?
Okay, well, I already covered one of my topics, the farmer's market, so we'll move on. Last night, I took the budget amendment for the purchase of the administrative recreation truck and the parks van to council, and it passed unanimous vote, so the second reading will be July 13th. And we've already contacted the vendors off the government list. The vehicles are available, and as soon as the second reading, we'll place the order the following day. So that's taken care of and in full swing. Obviously, the work session is next Monday night. You guys all know that. It's at 7 o'clock, and you'll be getting a packet this Thursday with an agenda and some discussion items on that packet. Mr. Rulo and I have been working on some RFPs that are due out here shortly. The tennis court, basketball resurfacing. We're finalizing that and hope to be out on the street within the next week. And City Engineer Crass has been extremely helpful in making sure that everything, all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted, making sure everything's done. Steve has finished the Hawk Ridge Park Trail RFP, and it's under review by the city engineer before it goes out on the street. So we hope to have both of those done and out for bid very, very quickly. So I'm excited about getting those. As far as the tennis court is concerned, we are working with the school district, working around the fall tennis season, making sure there's no disruptions there, and their season and our project can coexist during that time frame. So I'll keep you posted as we move forward on that. Let's see, and like they both said, July 4th is the event coming up, and we're excited about that. Just a note for the public, the car show starts at 4 o'clock. We do have kids games that are within the park area, the activity area, and that's 7 to 9 p.m. Southtown Band, they have rock and blues music. They'll begin playing at 7 o'clock. And so we ask that you guys all come out. I mean, this is one of our events, so it's a good event. And we draw a large crowd, a lot of people. We typically have pretty good weather for this event. It's usually hot, obviously, but it's always good to have our park board and our city councils members at our event, so we look forward to having you out. And let's see, a couple. Let's see. As far as in the public goes, I was a guest speaker at the Optimist Club on June 9th, and we've met and Rec Superintendent McLean will be bringing a proposal, just an informative plan of implementation for some alternatives to soccer, competitive soccer, and additions to rec soccer from a focus group that met. And so hope to have that plan to you guys. We're going to move forward with it. We just want to keep you posted on what we're moving forward with. So that should be coming fairly soon. And I'll entertain any other questions you guys have.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So what kind of vehicles did you land on?
We did the Ford cargo van that Steve requested. I went ahead and did as you guys requested and upgraded to get the extended with the tow package. It was only a couple $1,000 extra, very minimal. And then the change from the crew cab to the, or from extended cab to the crew cab was like $800, so we bumped it up to a crew cab F-150,
Great.
like you requested, and the both combined come in just under 50,000.
So here's the big question. What color?
What color?
Are they white?
That's like
Please
a
don't tell me
girl
there's
question.
white.
Standard.
White?
Standard white. Yep.
Can we put racing stripes on it or something other than the city logo? Not that I don't like the city logo.
No, we're gonna have our logo.
Really?
Yeah. All our trucks are getting.
All white with just our logo?
Yes.
Really? No stripes? Nothing?
No.
Okay.
I apologize for the disappointment.
It's okay. That's okay. Blue, a nice blue would have been good. Any other questions for the director? Nope. All right, thank you, sir. All right, no old business, so we're moving on to new business real quickly. The first one is the budget, and this is the operations budget. As you know, we've already sent forth our recommended CIP budget to, basically we sent it to the city manager to go ahead and send it and get it in the workbook. Now we need to go ahead and approve our recommendation for the operations budget. We talked about this last week. I don't know if there's really many highlights for it. A couple things to note. We are transferring $200,000 less out of our CIP budget to bring down a little bit of our reserve fund and our operation budget. So you'll see, if you looked at the end, you'll see that drops quite a bit from last year to this year, from 476 to 254. And even though it shows a negative 200,623, it really comes out to be a zero budget in the end, just because we're not doing the normal transfer. One thing to note, and it's probably written in here, but I haven't read it verbatim, was when we, if we want to, I assume the request is in here. I guess it's not. Oh, yeah, there it is. One of the things is when we make this recommendation, the motion needs to also include some minor adjustments, if we so allow, to let the director make adjustments for some numbers that haven't come in yet, including insurance, I think an increase in wages, a bonus or salary increase.
Mostly personnel costs that
Yes.
the projections weren't in at the time we
Right.
did this. So we're just asking that you allow us to move forward with those minor tweaks to keep it a zero balance budget.
Yeah. So, you know, we can,
Operating at a deficit.
yeah, we can leave the motion open to whatever the director chooses, or we can set a set dollar amount not to exceed so-and-so without coming back to us for approval on that, which would be my recommendation. But any questions on the operation budget? I mean, were there any highlights? I can't remember now. It's been a week.
We proposed two extension items. One was the addition of an athletic coordinator, and one was the addition of a recreation intern. The recreation intern is in the line item. It is funded with this proposed budget. The athletic coordinator is not funded, but we have had discussion at length with not only the city manager but the finance director of how we can move forward and justify this position and work towards what we can do from a revenue standpoint, program standpoint, to begin the process of funding that position and honestly just earning it. So although it's there, it is not funded, but the internship is funded, and the amount for the internship is $10,000, which typically would be about 2 interns per year.
Oh, and a couple other things. We've got probably what's sticks out to me, maybe it sticks out to you, as a capital outlay. And that's, everything else is, I don't want to call them utility items, but they're items that continue every year and may go up and down depending on your use. Capital outlay is a large item we're purchasing to grab something new. We got $7,200 in the parks capital outlay, and that is for 3 soccer goals. That was part of, we got 3 in this fiscal year, right? And it's for 3 more next year. So that's really, in this fund, that's our big purchase.
The other
other
addition
than the
I'd like to
vehicles.
add is the vehicles that were passed last night, they're funded in the VERT program from this point moving. So
Right.
they're in this
Right.
as well.
In the VERP, does everybody know what the VERP is? Mr. Heath, the VERP, do you know what the VERP is? Somewhat. We're basically prepaying for replacements is what it is.
With the addition of these 2 vehicles and this funded, our fleet is now caught up. All of our vehicles, there may be a couple of our tractor or parks implements, as they wear out, we need to include those. But as far as our fleet is concerned, once these new vehicles are in, we're completely caught up with that. So it's been a long process to get there from when we started in '07. So pretty excited. City Council is excited about that.
I thought you had one in 2017 that was up again for purchase.
I'm talking about
Oh, as far as the
vehicles
VERP
that-
goes?
Yes, as far as the
Okay.
VERP goes, all of our vehicles at this point forward are being funded to be replaced from now on.
We don't have any sitting there unfunded in VERP, right? That's basically what you're saying.
Well, we have 2, but they will be going away very soon.
Yes. All right, any questions on that? You open your mouth, you gonna say something?
No, I wasn't gonna say something, except a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I move that we approve staff to move forward with this budget process and proposal for fiscal year 2016 and present to the city council for approval, and that we allow the director discretion as far as any adjustments that need to be made. With no, within, no limit exactly on that, but we'll allow it at his discretion.
Okay, do I have a second? Do you want me to repeat the motion?
I just thought we put a cap on it.
Well,
Well-
then if we don't get a second, then we can
I guess
modify it.
I guess I'll have a discussion. So what exactly, what number would we cap if we were going to cap? Is it 1,164,293? Are you looking for
No.
some?
No.
You're looking at small numbers, like $10,000 or $20,000.
No, I'm saying what number would we be approving if we didn't have discretion? Is that the number? 1,164,293?
Yes,
Yes.
So a cap would be some percentage of that is what?
well, they're estimating $20,000 at most, whatever the
The smaller
increased
your
insurance.
cap that you put that restriction on, the more that we have to bring that back to you folks before we can get that.
The more likely you would have to come back.
Yes, sir.
But personally, I don't feel like just giving a blank check and saying whatever happens and us not knowing. That's my only idea.
But there's
Yeah, I
also
just-
the fact that, a big change like that, I'm not just gonna do without notifying the board as well. But this requires me to have to do that.
So
Right.
just from may I ask, what's the very most that you think this would go up? Are we talking about 20,000 or 50,000?
Maybe 20.
So let's just say 50. Let's go plus 50 then.
Well, hang on, we've got a motion already on the floor with no cap. Do I have a second?
Motion fails.
I move we amend the motion.
Well, we haven't approved the motion yet, so why don't you just go ahead and let it fail, and we'll just make a new
Okay,
one.
great.
Do I have a second? No second. That motion fails. Would you like to make a new motion, Member Haddock?
No.
No? He said no, okay.
I approve we,
Hold on.
no, I will. I move we approve the budget as presented, up to at $1,164,293 with an additional $50,000 at the discretion of the director.
Okay, so we have a motion, recommendation to move this forward with the $50,000 adjustment cap if needed. Do I have a second? All right, I have no second. That motion fails. Okay,
$20,000.
go ahead.
I do not like making motions, so let's make that.
There's not that many of us left.
Well, you can make it another motion with a different cap. Just make it a smaller cap, please.
If it's of any help, what we can do is, since this is something they're gonna move forward, they have to propose to city council. We can, if it'd make it easier, we can put a cap of 30, since it doesn't seem to be exceptional.
Then do it,
All right,
please.
all right. I make a motion that we direct staff to present this proposed budget to city council for approval with a cap, discretionary cap of 30,000. Allow, for the directors if it's needed.
Okay, now we have a motion with a $30,000
I will go
cap
ahead and
to
second
take
that.
this. Oh, and I have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Motion passes. Yes, that's bureaucracy right there. That was pretty bad. Okay, item B had new business, Park Board Handbook of Procedures, Guidelines, Responsibilities, and Department Information. This is something the director has come up with, so I will let him explain this.
Thank you, sir. What you have before you is it's a handbook of policies and procedures. Many of you in previous years might have received what we call the director notebook. A lot of the same information is in there as that stuff doesn't change. What we did was we added a few things that haven't been put into those director notebooks, and I know several of you never received those notebooks upon joining the board. So we reorganized it. We sorted it out with tabs so it was easier to find, to locate, figure out what's in there. We gave you some extra spaces. We developed new policies, new things. You have room to add that in there. What I wanted this to be is a quick reference, a quick resource for you guys to go through and to look at. And if you have any questions, this is where you go to. If you can't find it, then you come to me. What I would like to see happen is we have a lot of policies in place that have been done over the past 10 to 12 years that probably need to be looked at to make sure that they're up to date. And by each of you having the same book in front of you, we can put those on the agenda as we move forward in the year to come and address those to see. Some of them may not need changes, some of them may need to be changed, but this is, now we know what they are, we can look at them. And what this also does, it kind of outlines your role as a board member. What are you expected to do in terms of being a volunteer on this board, and also it outlines what your expectations are of your staff. So hopefully this will help kind of clarify some things going on. This is something that the city manager and I have really felt there's a need for in all of our boards and commissions within the city. So you may see over the course of the next couple of years, as we begin developing this, it may change, it may evolve. We want this to be a working handbook, not necessarily something that's set in stone from this point forward. So it is here. I don't really expect a whole lot of questions. I don't expect you to run through it. I wanted to give it to you tonight, and that way if you have questions over the course of the next month, you can email those to me, and then we can address them at maybe the next work session.
When was the last time this was reviewed, that you know of?
Well, the book as a whole, I think the last time they were handed out was probably 2012, the last time. The policies themselves, most of them haven't been reviewed since they were implemented. As far as the policies, the ordinances, you know, we went through pretty
Couple minor
extensive
changes
stuff.
here and there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing major. So it's not necessarily that they're outdated, it's just that they're together in one book for you guys to see, and then that we can address them without them being thrown out in the dark, you know, to you guys. You see them, you know they're there, they exist. Now we can look at them systematically.
Thank you, sir. I would suggest, and I kind of gave up on this myself because I still have my old one, bringing this to every meeting. I would make one reference or one change already and make 13, make it, you know, previous agenda or previous notes or something the previous month. We get these, they're hole punched, I make notes on them and then just, you pop them in, you know, and then you can make quick reference to what's happened in previous months to these agenda items, and you can go back and look at it and say, oh, I remember in, you know, so-and-so, and so you got all this stuff with you. I really dig the maps too, because I always forget where we're at all the time, but.
Yeah, I did want to add the maps. And the last time the book was done, the maps were 2010, and our parks have changed considerably since then. So these maps are updated with the latest satellite images that we've got. As far as the way the table of contents is laid out, you see that I just left blank. So as we come across things that you want to add to that, just like the agenda, if that's what you guys want to do on item 13, just write in, you know, agendas, meeting agendas, and then just start using it that way. When you see at the bottom, there's future additions. Those are some things that I want to revise before we give them to you, like our user group agreements, because I went through that, and the last user group agreement still had RYAA, you know, Ray-Pec soccer clubs. Those don't even exist anymore, so we need to update those. So when those are done, then we can fill them into one of the numbered tabs and just keep the book going as we need to. So.
Another thing to keep in mind, this book is good for work sessions, strategic meetings outside. They're good here too. Most of this stuff is available to us online here when you come in. It's on the park board drive. So, you know, all the policies you can see here without flipping through all your pages to find it, but the maps aren't. Some of the other stuff I don't think is on here either. So here in these meetings, you got dual resources, but in work sessions, when we meet over in the conference room, it would be great. So thank you, sir. This is a good resource to have.
Other thing I thought about was, I love having, you know, like I told you guys, the trail map, but you could stick a sunshine law booklet. We've got those, stick those in there, because that's one thing that I know starting out was a bit confusing, so.
I'll look into that and see if city clerk can get us some of those.
You do have your current ones that we gave you guys 2 months ago, don't you?
I've had one in the past. I don't remember getting one 2 months ago. It's
Yes.
been 2 months.
It's been 2 months.
Let's do it this way. If you have one that John gave you, let me know. Put it in your book. If you don't have one, email me and say, I need one, and I'll make sure you get one.
Are you saying you need one or you have one?
He's got one.
Raise your hand. I have one.
So if you need one, just email me if
I
you
don't
need
want
I
one.
want a star.
I defy the law.
Can we also recycle our other books back to you guys? And
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, if you have the old book and you obviously don't need it, most of this information is duplicated, just bring them back. We'll recycle them and use the notebooks over.
Okay. Any questions on this? Anything? No? All right. Thank you, sir. All right, move on to item 11. That is board elections. As some of you may, all of you probably know because I sent the email, but every May, every June, I thought it was in May. It's in June? In June, we have our elections for chairman and vice chairman. There are term limits on those seats of a maximum of 2 years. I've fulfilled 2 years, so I'm done here as chairman. Mr. Manson has served 2 years as vice chairman, is that right?
One.
Just one? Who did it before you?
They seem like two,
It
but it was one.
seems like 15, but, so we have to do our elections for chairman and vice chairman. I did, ask for nominations over email and got a couple, but I'm making one last call if anybody would like to nominate anybody for either position. For those that are aware, Mr. Manson accepted a nomination for chairman. I accepted a nomination for vice chairman. But if anybody else would like to nominate anybody, they have to accept it. So you have to nominate somebody that's here tonight. And I already know one person who's declined. So nobody wants to nominate anybody. Okay, then this ought to be pretty simple. So we have, do we make, is it an actual motion?
Yes.
It is? All right, somebody has to make it. I'll call for a motion for,
I'll call for a motion to elect the vice president, vice chairman.
you're out of order, dude.
I know it's out of order, but I'm the one making the motion. And and the nomination was for Brian Harris. So I need a vote on that.
Yeah,
we'll
it's a
require a
motion, it
second.
requires a second.
I second.
Okay. So was your motion to make me, to
Vice
elect
chair.
me vice chair?
Vice
Okay,
chair.
and we have a second. So that's the motion on the floor. Any discussion in that? All in favor? Unanimous. So now we gotta go back to item B.
I'm
So
being
mu-
modest.
Are you gonna do it yourself?
If no one else
I
will,
don't think you
will.
can.
I don't think I can either.
I don't know. It probably doesn't matter. Jim will do it. Just Jim will do it.
I move we nominate Bill Manson or William Manson I move we elect William Manson to the chairman position.
Do I have a second? Do I have a first and a second? Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. All right. All right, that's done. That was quick. Any board member comments this evening? Or public? Yes. Yes, sir.
First of all, I want to welcome Member Heath. This is his first meeting tonight, so we're excited to have him on board. And second, with these notebooks, I know what, at the time of my hiring, we had talked about individual meetings with each of you as members so that we could go through and just kind of do a one-on-one session and go through this. I wanted to hold off on that until you've received those books. So after next month, we'll put this on the work session to go over those books, any questions, or once that's done, we can start scheduling tour of the parks and just a one-on-one session with me. And if you guys want the superintendents with us, we can do that. That way we can just give everybody a tour of the parks, let you know where we stand as staff, kind of what our vision is, and that allows us to also kind of get an idea of what you guys see and what you'd like to see happen in the park. So I knew that was coming, but I was holding off until we completed those books. Now that we're there, you get a chance to look at them. We'll go ahead and implement that process and as we work towards the next upcoming year. And don't forget the work session next Monday night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments? No? I, too, would like to welcome Mr. Heath to this nut house. It's fun. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good time. Yes, ma'am.
As I kind of stated to you guys before we started, but wanted to publicly say it, I love our trails. I've been riding them lately, and they're fun. You know, it's nice to get out there and you see people walking. Of course, that always makes it interesting when you're biking, but you know, it's fun to be able to go out and have that opportunity. You know, we travel a lot and go to California. That's one of the things I love about California is they have great trails. I love that Raymore's doing that. I love that we're offering opportunities to be able to get outside and, you know, be in nature and have opportunities like that. So, thanks.
Anybody? Anything else?
Thank you. Done 2 years as park board chair. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank this group, too, for putting their trust in me for the last couple of years. You should thank me because you're here. I had to just, that's my last moment. It's my last crowning moment here. Okay, I'm done. I'll call for a motion for adjournment.
I'll go ahead and make that motion. I'd like to move that we adjourn for the evening.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. All in favor? Any discussion? Any discussion? No? All in favor? Unanimous. Meeting adjourned.